Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Inclusive Arts Visual Challenges page. Starting off with our quote, even without sight, there's still vision. This is actually an anonymous quote, but it just shows that everybody has a way in which they desire to express themselves. We'll now discuss more specific common challenges for those with visual difficulties. So for our common challenges, blindness does not always mean pitch black darkness or lights out. Instead, those with visual deficits may experience challenges with these areas, such as decreased contrast sensitivity, just general low vision, sensitivity with glare, color deficiency, not knowing the difference between colors, and this can all kind of impact their general safety. Let's move on to a few modifications that may facilitate your students' learning and overall participation. So for lighting and magnification, a good first step is to make sure your learning environment has direct lighting available for projects, as this is really beneficial for all students, but especially for those with low vision. So try to avoid spaces with shadows or weird glares from windows to avoid that glare. Also, do not buy anything again unless you have an appropriate funding source, but having tools available like a detachable magnifying glass or light up utensils can help to decrease barriers for students and make things a little bit easier to see. So this may be a good idea to discuss with parents or students' IEP team members about. Again, not because you need to be the one to buy it, but just seeing if that would be beneficial for the student. So here are a few other and more modifications that can generally help with those with visual challenges. So generally using large font sizes for written instructions or descriptions of artwork, and preferably in sans serif fonts such as Arial. Also offering to read aloud instructions or descriptions for artwork. This can also be done with a peer support in the classroom so that they can help each other learn and help you as the teacher as well. You can also provide tactile cues. So in this picture on the right here, it's kind of showing a visual schedule. This one's not particularly for arts, but it shows a tactile cue of using a fork for lunchtime. So maybe you could use like a paintbrush and like a sponge for cleanup time, things like that. Also, using high contrast materials, whether it's black and white or bright colors, can help improve students' ability to overall see the material that's in front of them. And another idea is using colored gel sleeves, so just the simple plastic ones like those people often put in their binders. They could put these over documents and assignments, as some colors are easier for students to see than others. But again, good to collaborate so you know what colors would work for students, like amber or rose, things like that. Here are a few more images and ideas for visual modifications. So as mentioned previously, using lots of textures, such as these top tools are kind of showing just um, little textures like sponges with handles on it. But you don't have to buy these tools. You could just use general sponges or forks, loofahs, things like that. Also using materials such as plaster of Paris or pipe cleaners can be really tactile for those with visual deficits, and they can be really beneficial in general. Also, using glue, you can decide, as well as the student can decide as far as safety as using a hot glue gun. Um, but just regular glue as well can kind of create raised edges so students know where the parameters are of the project. So you could either prep that before or have a pair or the student do it themselves. Also, using colorful tape helps provide a low cost, high contrast, even if it's like, for example, on the sink handles, having bright colors around the hot handle versus the cold handle, etc. And this bottom right marble photo here is an example of a more advanced high contrast project for older students. So again, just because um, they may need modifications. That doesn't mean that you have to lower the standards for their art, and they can create some of those more advanced pieces still. Moving on to our artist highlight, John Bramblett is a blind painter who was one of the first blind muralists in the world. His works feature bright colors and textures, and he claims that art has really reshaped his life. Feel free to learn more about John in the resources section. And with that, thank you so much for listening to the Visual Challenges page, and we'll see you on the next presentation. Thank you.